Well, welcome to Lesson 2 in Chapter 8. We are going to work on solving two-step equations. And just like it sounds, these are equations that are solved using two steps. It only contains two operations. So, for example, if we have this equation, 3x plus 1 equals 7, this equation has the variable multiplied by 3 and then 1 is added to it. So to solve it, we're going to actually do our order of operations in reverse. So first of all, you need to add or subtract any constants. Okay, so you're trying to isolate the variable by itself. So in this example, we will subtract 1 from both sides of the equation. Now keep in mind, I would like you to be working vertically. So start from the top, write your equation, and work down. I don't want you to work horizontally, work vertically. When I subtract 1 from both sides, I get 3x is equal to 6. The second step then is to get x by itself. It's currently multiplied by 3, so we'll divide by 3 on both sides, leaving us with x equals 2. Here's another example on the right-hand side. Remember, get the constants first. 3 is being subtracted, so we're going to add 3. It drops out on the right, and we get 28 is equal to 1/4 n. Now the opposite of multiplying by a fourth is multiplying by the reciprocal, which is 4/1. So we have to do that on both sides, and when we multiply by 4, we get n is equal to 112. Here are 3 for you to try, two-step equations. Go ahead and pause the video, and we'll work through these together when you come back. All right, let's take a look at what you found. So first off, we have 3x plus 2 equals 20. So the first step we want to do here is to go ahead and get rid of our constant, and our constant is plus 2, so we're going to do the opposite and subtract 2 on both sides. Okay, so then draw a line, and you're going to write what cancels then. The plus 2 and the minus 2 add to 0, and then we want to bring down our equal sign. On the right-hand side, we have 20 minus 2, which is 18, and we have 3x over on the left-hand side. Our second step, since x is multiplied by 3, we divide by 3 on both sides. Remember, whatever you do on one side, you must do on the other. So now the 3's cancel, and I'm left with x equal to 6. In the middle column, we have 5 plus 2n equals -1. We want to get rid of our constant first. The opposite of a plus 5 is a minus 5. So working through this one, we end up the 5's canceling, and we have 2n is equal to -6. Dividing by 2 on both sides, we have n is equal to -3. And lastly, on the right-hand side, subtracting 9 from both sides, -9 and -9. Working vertically, okay, the 9's drop out. On the left side, we have -10, then we have our equal sign, and we still have 1/2 a. Well, how do we get the 1/2 to go away? Well, we need to do the opposite, and that's multiply by 2/1. So I'm going to multiply this side by 2/1 and multiply this side by 2/1 as well. When we do that, the 2's cancel over here, and we're just left with the variable a, and -10 times 2 is -20. All right, what if we have negative coefficients? The process is the same, but in your second step, you'll divide by the negative number. So for example, we have 6 minus 3x equals 21. The first thing we do is subtract 6, and then divide by -3 on both sides, giving us x equals -5. On the right-hand side, first we're going to subtract 10 from both sides, and it looks like I don't have this one in here, so I'll do this one by hand. So we're going to go -10, I'll work in red as well over here, -10 from both sides. So when I do that, my 10's drop, and I have -2/3 times p is equal to 42. Okay, now how do I get rid of that 2/3? Well, I'm going to multiply by its reciprocal, which is -3/2. So if it's a negative, we multiply by a negative, and then on the right-hand side, I multiply by the exact same fraction. And when you have a whole number, you can just put it over 1. So now the 3's cancel, and the 2's cancel, and a negative times a negative is a positive, so I just have the letter p here. 2 goes into 42 21 times, and 21 times -3 is -63. Alright, go ahead, pause the video and work on these two on your own, and I'll show you the answers when you come back. Alrighty, let's take a look. On this one, let me just make sure I don't have this already in here. Looks like I don't. So on this one, what we're going to do first is we're going to subtract 2 from both sides. Get rid of those constants. They're gone on the right. So we have 3x is equal to negative 19, and negative 2 added together is negative 21. But now we're going to divide by whatever x is multiplied by, so that we're going to divide by 3, and whatever we do on one side, we have to do on the other. So we end up with x equal to negative 7. How about on the right-hand side? We're going to add 2 to start off with to get rid of our constant. So we get n over negative 3. Our 2's are canceling, they're adding to 0, and then we have our equal sign. Negative 18 plus 2 is negative 16. Okay, and so then to get rid of that negative 3, we need to, the n, the variable, is divided by negative 3, so the opposite of that is to multiply by negative 3. And I'll just put it over 1. And on this side, multiply by negative 3. So these 3's now cancel, and I am left with the variable, which is my goal. N is equal to a negative times a negative is a positive, and 16 times 3 is 48. All right, sometimes we have to combine some like terms before we do our two-step process. So here's a couple of examples of that. So in this equation, we have two y terms, and then we have some constants. So we need to get the like terms together. So first of all, negative 2y plus y, we have to figure out how many y's we get. And this is like negative 2y plus 1y. When there's no number, it's like having a 1 in front. So this would give us a negative y minus 5 equals 11. But now we want to get rid of the constant. Now it's just like what we talked about in the beginning. We need to add 5 to both sides. So our 5's cancel, and we get negative y equals 16. But we want to know what positive y is. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply by negative 1 on both sides. I'm going to multiply that by negative 1, and I'm going to multiply this one by negative 1. And a negative times a negative is a positive, so we get y equals, and now we have 16 times negative 1, which is negative 16. Over on the right-hand side, x plus 4x gives us 5x, and that's equal to 45. And we want to get x by itself, so we need to divide by 5. That's the opposite of multiplication. So now the 5's will cancel, right? This 5 and this 5. So we are left with x by itself, which is our goal, and 45 divided by 5 is 9. Here are two for you to try. Remember to combine like terms first, and then solve the equation by getting the variable by itself. We'll see you in class.